Boom, and we're live. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode number 135 of Mirrorless Minutes. This is our special pandemic episode where everyone is cloistered at home trying to
Right.
survive the apocalypse. Jerry, quick question. You
Yeah.
haven't had to eat anyone to survive yet, right?
Um. No.
Then we're doing okay. How's it going from the west side of the state?
It's probably pretty much the same everywhere, man. Stores are empty and
Yeah.
people wearing masks everywhere, and I'm trying to avoid everybody. I feel like Barry Sanders going to the store. Get away! Get away! Get away!
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, funny, Bob. He says, "Hello, Mike." So it's funny that you mentioned the grocery store, just because they've like our Meyer down here. They have these markers on the floor every 6 feet at the
Yep. Yep.
checkout.
Yep.
How wide is a grocery store aisle? 4 feet, like
Right.
four and a
Yeah.
half feet.
Uh,
So
I noticed too at the self checkouts they turned every other one on, or
that,
every other one off.
yep,
You know what I mean? That way you're probably 10 feet away from the next person. Yeah.
probably a smart idea. So for those who are curious, Mike isn't here tonight. Obviously, Mike doesn't wear a beard quite like that ever. So he's actually probably still at work in a meeting. It's as you can imagine, he works for a company that's huge with thousands and thousands of people. So and being in HR, this is probably a nightmare scenario. And I know that he's been spending a lot of time at the office, well beyond the normal 5 o'clock go home time. So Mike informed me that he wouldn't be able to come on, and I know we can always count on Jerry. Jerry's always game to jump on
For
and talk
sure.
photography. So
Heck yeah.
it's kind of what we're doing. I just kind of wanted to use this episode to mention again that we have a Flickr group now, the one that I put together called Life Under COVID-19. I'll put a link in the description for this show. And if you still can't find it, just swing over to Flickr and type in Life Under COVID, actually, as the name of the group. And you should be able to find it pretty easy. And last week on the show, I think I asked people to start submitting things to that group or sending them to me to share on this episode. And that's kind of what we're going to do. We're going to spend some time looking at some of the photos that other people have been capturing while staying at home, or if they're an essential worker, what they're seeing during their essential travels. I know some people obviously are
Yep.
essential workers. Jerry is classified as an essential worker, so he's out and about in this every day.
It's weird, man. Driving in the morning, there's like no traffic, man.
It's
And,
probably kind of nice.
oh yeah, it's definitely nice. It's just weird seeing everything like in the middle of the day and everything's all the parking lots are empty. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, have you had a chance to stop and shoot at all while you're doing your commute, or on your way home?
No, I've been trying to just get home, man.
Yeah,
Stay off the street.
right.
I did. I took a drive the other night and I just stayed in the car and you know I see something and I jump out real quick and take a shot, jump back in and roll the windows up.
Right,
You
right.
know what I mean?
I know it's funny because I think I expected to see a lot more photos from people that were indoors, given that I don't know the number of states currently that have a shelter in place order set up, but I think we're at like 15 or 16 or more
Yeah,
states,
it's growing.
yeah, that are doing that. It's like I said, it's kind of surprising to see how many shots were taken not indoors, and there's no problem with that. Obviously, just hopefully everybody's taking proper precautions when they're shooting outside.
Right.
So the shots that you were taking, because I know Jerry's got some images to share, and I think you said were a lot of these shot with your phone.
I think every one of those was shot with my phone. Yep.
Yep. And I think that's probably part of the change that some of us are making is literally traveling as light as possible. Just pull your phone out. Raw photographers, we all know how to get probably the best possible image from a phone. So
Right.
so that's not probably a bad thing to be doing. My cough is not wet, and I've had this cough for about a month, so I think
Right.
I'm good.
Oh, I'm getting one now.
And
Scary,
that's
man.
it is. It's terrifying,
I've
Jerry.
been
Before,
checking my temperature when I get up in the morning.
yeah, Jerry said before the show that he's got a bit of a dry cough going, and it's like, oh man, normally who
Right.
cares?
And I
Suck a
don't get
cough
sick.
drop.
I never get sick. I haven't been sick and I haven't had a real cold in probably 10, 15 years, man.
Yeah. So it's funny. Mike in the chat room here said that he's getting really good at video conferences. I hear you. So before my company put us all down on mandatory stay at home, which was a week and a half ago or so, I was in charge of getting everyone set up with Skype and setting up a schedule and a speaking order and all of that. So we do that every day as well. Our 9 a.m. meeting is now virtual, which is pretty cool. It's not too bad. It actually goes pretty good. I find that they run a little long though, right, when you do them that way, but not such a bad affair. And just kind of want to mention too, some of the things that other visionaries have been doing. I see Joe Edelman's got like this crazy cool, stay at home series that he's been doing, shooting eggs and I think toilet paper tubes maybe today. Right. Very a cool piece of subject matter, and yeah, definitely very colorful. It looks like he's doing a lot of stuff with gels, which is cool because you're kind of seeing him take what he does in portrait work and apply it to something completely not household items. Yeah, household items for sure. I think it's ironic that I think that these are toilet paper tubes in the most recent shot. Looks like he's got a lot of empty toilet paper tubes. I hope you weren't a hoarder, Joe.
Yeah, you're a hoarder, Joe. That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah, that's his way of bragging. Hey, look, I've got 7 empty tubes. Right. No, but super cool series, and I recommend people go look up Joe Edelman and check out what he's been doing. Very fun stuff. Yep. Yeah. Steve says he does some crazy work for sure.
Joe's a creative dude, man.
Very, very. And he's probably used to the shooting at home a lot. I think his studio and everything, I think, is at home maybe. Or...
No, he moved it, I guess.
Oh, that's right.
I didn't know he moved it. That's Don't you always shoot at home? He was like, no, it's studio ain't been in my house for 10 months.
That's right. I forgot he moved into a big place so that he could do a lot of remote education, which is, he was like very prescient for doing that, looking forward into the future some, I guess. But I kind of want to jump right in and start sharing some of the images that people submitted through the Flickr group. And I had a few.
I haven't got in there yet. I need to get in there and get some stuff in there.
Definitely some cool stuff in there. Hopefully I'm not too hot on the mic here. But I'll pop this up onto the, oops. There we go. I'll just bring these up. So some of these were submitted via email. Some of them were submitted via instant messenger. Some of them were in the Flickr group. They've come from all over the place. So I'm not going to use last names here. I just named everything by first names only. But so this is Barry. This is his shot. He's from here in Michigan. I've had the pleasure of hanging out with him and shooting a few different times over the years. And he lives over on the east side of the state, which in Michigan is definitely a hot zone. This was taken actually, I think about a week ago almost. So this was right when things were starting to clamp down, but before we had a shelter in place order put down. And he does a lot of wonderful black and white work. And I think this was shot with a Leica, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember which model he was using, but this is very telling of what is going on here in Michigan. It was kind of cool to get that shot come in from him.
Right.
The next shot was from Jeffrey. If you're an Olympus user and you're on Facebook, you know what his last name is. But
yep, you know Jeffrey.
Yeah, Jeffrey's been doing a lot of time out in the marshlands near where he lives and playing a lot with Pro Capture on, I think, the EM1X, if I'm not mistaken. And he sent me a message earlier saying that he's been having a lot of fun using the 12-100, using Pro Capture to do sequences of shots like this. So a really cool use of Pro Capture on the Olympus cameras. And if you're not an Olympus user, chances are, if you're watching this, you're very likely an Olympus user. But if you're not and you're curious about what Pro Capture is, feel free to reach out to me at any time, and I'd be glad to explain to you how it makes shots like this actually really easy. Easy to get the sequence, not easy necessarily to get the framing like he did in this. Is a gorgeous shot. So the next one is from another Mirrorless Minutes viewer, Tim. So Tim had to travel recently for work. He's deemed an essential worker, and he made sure he wanted me to let people know that he wasn't just out trying to take advantage of cheap airfare or anything like that. He definitely travels around constantly for work, and whatever it is that he does, it seems to be pretty important because of the amount of time he spends on the road. But this was taken on a flight from Grand Rapids, Michigan to Minneapolis. And I think I count one head, two heads, maybe.
That's crazy. That's the way to fly right there, baby.
Right. This is how the elite fly. It looks like pretty empty, pretty telling of what things are like out there. And this was just taken on Monday, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So, definitely when things were really starting to ramp up and people weren't traveling. This is, if I'm not mistaken, this is taken in the airport in Minneapolis, I believe. And if I'm not mistaken, he also had mentioned that this was the gate that generally serves LA from Minneapolis. And if you know anything about airports, if there's a terminal or a gate that is serving flights to LA, they're packed. It doesn't matter what airport you're in. If people are going to California, LAX. So wait, Tim's actually in the chat room. So Tim, is this in LAX or is this going to LAX? See if he can get a chance to type in the comments here and let us know. Regardless, if this is at LAX, this is bananas because I've flown out of LAX and this doesn't even exist in LA. So again, pretty cool to see what it looks like out there in the wild during that. Oh, in LAX. Holy cow. Yeah, this is bananas. I can't even imagine being there when it's like this. And you notice, I don't think I see anybody in the background I see one person wearing a mask. That's it. And this is, in the middle of a pandemic, which is crazy. This is another submission from the Flickr Group. Super cool to see people getting behind the camera and doing self-portrait work.
Yep, I was just going to say that.
And this is what it's like for those of us who are just kind of condemned to a life at home. I know Shelly's description just mentioned, that she's on almost like her second week of being at home and just scared to get out and all of this stuff, and don't blame her one bit. So what better way to express that through photos? Self-portrait's always fun. I should probably do a couple of self-portraits. I've got all my lights out in the next room. Right. I don't know what it is about these photos, but I always get a kick out of these things. I have no idea where people get these little figurines, but people make the funniest and coolest little setups and vignettes out of these things. And this is funny. I think that this one was titled My Medicine. Right. And again, submitted by one of our Flickr users. And our Flickr users are submitting stuff from all over the world. And finally, this last one submitted by Omar. I love this. This is super cool. The lights are insane.
What is that? Is that a cell phone?
No, that is not with a cell phone. I'd have to jump back to the Flickr group to see.
I'm talking about the thing that's causing the reflection at the bottom.
Oh,
that's too long for a cell phone.
Yeah, no, I think it's probably a railing or something that's reflecting, like a glass rail or a bar, maybe. Right. But we've got members of this Flickr group that are all over the world, and it's cool to see these pictures come in from everywhere, and the scenes are very much the same everywhere. We're seeing very similar stuff from all across this country as we are overseas in Germany and Great Britain and Italy. Actually, we've got some submissions from Italy that are really good photos to check out. So I'd encourage people to swing over to Flickr and check it out. So Timothy comments that they have to fly for cargo, moving crews and planes around, and some are flying essential workers. Yep. Totally, for sure. I mean, it sounds kind of weird. I almost feel guilty saying it, but I had an Amazon delivery today. Sensor swabs for that dang Sony that likes to suck in the dust.
Did you Lysol your boxes down?
I have wipes, like Lysol wipes or whatever. And so what I really did, though, is it came in a bag. So I picked up the bag like this in my coat and used kitchen shears and opened the bag up, dropped the sensor swabs out of that, wiped the package that they were in down and let it sit and dry off, wiped it down one more time, let it dry off, and then opened it up.
Right. I get packages every day at work and from FedEx, and I've gotten a few from China in the last 2 weeks. Those ones were a little scary to open, man.
Yeah, as long as they weren't like next day air or 2 day or whatever, Right. Yeah, if they came over on a ship, they're weeks at sea, so not too bad. Hopefully not too bad. So also I'll do a quick screen share too. I just want to show the Flickr group just so people can kind of get a look at what kind of work we're seeing there. Some of these photos I couldn't pull over and share on the share tonight just because the owners of the pictures have them set so that they can't be downloaded. So I figured this would be a good way to kind of show you some of the stuff that we're seeing. I'm totally digging shots with these plague masks. This little girl with a plague doctor mask and her teddy bear with a gas mask on.
Whose
Super
photo
fun.
was that? That's somebody submitted?
Yeah, that's something that someone submitted.
That's dope, man. I like that.
Yeah, a lot of super cool stuff in here. Let's see if I can pull up one. So we've got some here from Belfast in Ireland. And I'm assuming that this intersection here is probably usually hopping, midday like this on a normal spring day. Excuse me. And again, just more scenes of traveling. Again, I think that this one is in Scotland as well. Just a couple of people on the bus.
It's crazy. It's the same everywhere, all around the world.
It is. And it's kind of ironic to me that, you'll see images like this, you'll see scenes like this, you'll hear stories from people that are working in the medical industry, and you'll still have tons of people out there that insist that, oh, this really isn't that big of a deal, oh, it's being blown out of proportion, or, whatever. People constantly saying, oh, the flu is worse, more people die from the flu.
Right.
I think if it was something like that, I don't think that there'd be this sort of a global reaction, like there is. And a nice hat there. Does it say stay home?
Yep, stay home. Keep your ass in the house.
There you go. Definitely. So Bob's being always the glimmer of hope and everything, letting us know that the virus started back in December. Because I mentioned that my cough has been here for a while.
Right,
hey, Bob, look, I'm old enough to probably not do well if I got it, so I think I'm okay. Jerry's fresh. So who knows?
Right. We'll see.
Definitely. So I'll do another quick image share. I'll do an image share of some of the stuff that Jerry and I have been shooting. Got to do that every once in a while. It's been a minute since I think I've shared too much of my stuff. Well, I guess
I
one
to
episode.
See that truck one, man. I saw that you were going to edit that live.
So I couldn't take it anymore. I had to get out. Shelter in place doesn't mean that you have to literally bolt the doors and tape the windows closed. At least not in Michigan. Excuse me. So for us here in Michigan, we're still given the opportunity to go to, walk in the park or what have you. Just don't go out unless you're doing, getting a supply run, or if you're going to be definitely socially distancing. And that was what I was doing here. Early morning drive up before sunrise, and wanted to capture a sunrise. I hadn't done a sunrise shoot or a sunset shoot with the Sony since I've gotten it. So I had to get out and give that a shot. I have no idea what in the heck this pipe is, but it is long. This is a pretty good sized field. And actually this is not even half of the pipe. The other half goes under the road and from the other side. Hey, Jim's here. Dude, totally stoked to share that photo. That series of photos is astoundingly awesome.
Oh, then were his, the one with the mask?
Yeah. Just gorgeous. Gorgeous. Yeah, Joe, I think it's an irrigation line for sure. It has to be. But man, I don't know. They're like irrigating a field like 4 fields away with it. It's pretty wild. Jim, yeah, I just wanted to say concept, super freaking fun. Lighting's beautiful in these. The way they were treated was perfect. I was pretty stoked to see those. Next shot is the barn. I kind of talked about that yesterday. I'm doing an episode of Between the Minutes, and this is the final edit from one of the ones that I was working on with everybody in the group there. Just a quick edit. I ended up pulling it into Luminar to throw a little bit more burst on the sunburst there in the lower left corner. The original had a little bit of flaring, but not quite as much as what I put in there. So here's one of the truck shots. I probably should have pulled up the original just so you can kind of see how much shadow detail you could pull out in those Sony files. And I'm not even shooting the uncompressed RAW either. So if you shoot the uncompressed RAW, there's even more shadow information and detail in there. So I was told I need to do a selfie because I haven't done a selfie in a long time. So I made sure to pop a selfie in there. It's been a minute. Actually, I've got like 3 or 4. I just wanted to share one. Didn't want to be too big-headed about the whole thing. So the next three images are going to be Jerry's. I'll let you go ahead and talk about these.
Yeah, these are just basic, random images with my cell phone walking through the grocery store, and yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody sees it. The shelves are empty, and I'm just walking around looking for things to photograph. The one below it is the
Oh, hold on. Give us a little bit of information. So this iPhone
iPhone.
shot. All right, cool.
Yep.
So is this shot with? So do you have the newer iPhone that's got like the really wide angle
11.
lens?
Yep, 11. Yep. This
Nice.
was shot with the wide angle lens. What is that? Is that 12 millimeters, right? I think it's 12.
I'm an Android guy. Sorry.
Right. I think it's the 12. I think it's the same as the Android.
Super cool.
Yep. And then this just caught my eye because they pulled all the tables and chairs out of Subway. This is in the Walmart in Grand Haven. And,
Nice.
And I just saw all the chairs gone, so I was like, "Yo, that's kind of weird. You never see it look like that." So.
Right. So tell me about processing on this. Is this straight off the camera or?
No, I touched it up a little bit in Lightroom Mobile.
Gotcha.
I created a few presets for my COVID-19 shots, and you know.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, the colors are just super rich and vibrant, kind of like that.
Right. There's some old guy walking down the street. He walked out in front of me. I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool. He's hunched over, not looking where he's going. And I'm like, your old ass needs to be at home right now, but he had stuff he had to go get, so I ain't mad at him.
Yeah, he's just plowing ahead, trying to make it through the day, I'm sure.
Yep.
That's got to be tough, for someone that age, if they're alone, if they have nobody that's helping them, I'm not sure. But so I got a question here. Eileen wants to know what do you use to edit your iPhone images? Like if it's on the phone?
Lately it's been Lightroom Mobile only. That's pretty much. I used to have 3 or 4 different apps that I would run an image through, but over time my editing got a lot more basic. I just try to keep things kind of the way I see them. I just make them a little punchy. So Lightroom Mobile, pretty much it.
Cool. So Brian wants to know if you got any wide shots of the empty streets in Muskegon.
Dude, nobody's staying home over here, man. That's probably why I'm sick now.
Really?
Yeah, ain't nobody staying home, man. These streets are full of cars. Yeah, I posted one. Oh, it was in my Instagram stories. A line of vehicles. You know what I'm saying? Down the street. Ain't nobody staying home.
That's just crazy. And I'm thinking about heading to Grand Rapids this weekend and trying to.
Did you see them shot somebody posted at Grand Rapids?
No. Empty
Ghost
streets?
Town, yes.
That's what I'm after.
Wild. It was wild.
That's what I'm after.
They were on the highway, empty.
Nice. I know that there's a couple of spots downtown that I seen the other weekend that I'd love to shoot without people in them, especially towards sunset. I've got this one shot lined up. It's been about 2 weeks since I saw it, but the way the sun lined up was perfect. I'm gonna have to check photo pills and see if that shot will line up, or the photographer's ephemeris.
You know what? I bought photo pills and I've never used it.
It's a good app. We're gonna plug photo pills on this episode of Mirrorless Minutes.
Right.
That's probably a good idea. It's probably a good idea to mention something like that. To download an app like that, it's pretty complex. I mean,
people always got their phones on them, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
And it's fairly simple to use, but there are a lot of complex features to it. And it's one of those things where I know personally, I got it. I know how to do the couple things that I would use the most frequently, but there are a ton of things that I don't know how to do in it. And now's the perfect time to sit back on the couch with your phone, and instead of looking at Facebook, learn that app, learn a new trick.
Right.
Definitely. Actually, I kind of want to swing back over to the Flickr page. I want to look up Omar's picture and just see where that was taken. And this will just take me 1 second here, and I'm not gonna share it. I'm just gonna talk about where it was taken. So Omar was, if he's got it on the map, I don't know if he's got it in the map or not. No, he doesn't have where it was taken at, but anyways, super cool. Oh, it was taken with so the camera it was taken with was the Sony A7 Mark II and the 25 millimeter f1.4. Give a little exif data there. So I think that's probably about it for this episode. We're going to keep it, short, let people get back to doing what they're doing. How do you do the best sunburst with an iPhone? That's a good question. Have you tried anything like that, Jerry, to get a starburst or a sunburst?
I have not, but you could probably in Lightroom Mobile, it lets you put it in professional mode, and there are a few other apps like Pro Camera, um, that let you adjust your aperture.
Oh, good call.
So you should be able to adjust your aperture and bump it up. And I mean, I don't know how great it's going to turn out. I've never tried it, but
Well, that's a good project for somebody to try. Then find an app
right,
that lets you put your camera on your phone into manual mode and adjust your aperture, stop it down as tight as that sucker will get. I don't know how stop down you can get on a cell phone lens, f16, f18, 22. I don't know, but
right,
that's how
right.
you're going to want to do it, Eileen. Is get an app that lets you shoot in manual mode and set your
Sorry, I don't have.
aperture
Sorry, I don't have more info. If you wanted to shoot lightning, I could tell you that one though.
with your phone.
Yeah.
What's the trick? Tell
uh,
us.
hold the button down. Let it rapid fire.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, and then just
Yep, yep. You'll catch it. I've actually caught lightning with my phone a few times.
that's crazy. You have to delete probably a million photos, but
Yep,
at
yep,
least you can get it though with your
yep,
phone.
yep, yep.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that this year too. Hopefully, storm season. So, again, I guess we'll probably cut this episode off at the 25-minute mark. I would really like to see people continue to stay home
Stay home.
and also seek out that Flickr group and just start taking a look at what other people are doing and share your stuff there. It'll be interesting to swing back on. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that was a good call creating that.
I think it'll be cool maybe a year from now when life
Mm-hmm.
has hopefully gotten back to normal, which I'm pretty sure it will.
Right.
So Robert he's being my guardian angel here. He tells me there's a storm coming in Saturday night. I know what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to find a city with no people in it and shoot that with a storm coming in, hopefully.
Grand Rapids, let's go.
There we go. It's probably where it's going to happen.
Get in one of those parking garages.
Yep, and it might be easier to get into places like that now too with everything being shut down.
Right.
You just have to stay 27.5 feet away from me, Jerry, because you have a dry cough.
Right. I'll go to the level below you.
There we go. That's the way to do it. You guys hang tight out there. Again, I'm working from home. If you want to chat with somebody, on and off throughout the day, if you got photography questions, hit me up. You know how to find me on social media. And if you don't, leave a comment here in this feed or after the show's over in the comments, and I'll get back to you and connect. You guys take care. Stay safe out there and keep your eye open for another Between the Minutes. I think I'm going to start doing more of those.
Cool.
Peace out, everybody.
See ya.